Now, you know what? I gotta call as I see it. I wasn't overly looking forward to Birds of Prey. I did a reaction to the trailer. I haven't done many trailer reactions recently. In fact, I haven't done any since that one. I really should try to get back into that. I did. I honestly thought it looked like a CW show that should have been in the Arrowverse, but they did it. And I took Carrie Ann with me, as well, my girlfriend with me, and we both actually really had fun with it. It's not my favorite DCEU movie. Um, Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you right now what my favorite one is because we now have a solid lineup of them. Because it's excuse me, I got a cough. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Suicide Squad, Aquaman, Shazam, and now that's 8 movies. That's not even including Joker, which isn't connected. So it's now hard for me to say what my favorite DCEU movie is. It's not this, I'll say that, but far better than I thought it was going to be. That's for certain. Um, the story is, they even say it in the trailer. She breaks up with the Joker. She's on her own. She unfortunately gets on the bad side of Black Mask, played by Roman Silas, played by Ewan McGregor. And it's the kind of the formation of the Birds of Prey, if you will, with Huntress, Black Canary, um, Marina Miles, I think her name is, the cop. And look, I first off think everyone in this movie is fantastic. Like they're doing their job, they're doing it well. Margot Robbie, I was kind of having a conversation with my girlfriend on this yesterday after I got on movies, just that comparing how good Margot Robbie is, and she kind of says like, I like this better than Deadpool. Like, really? I mean, okay, but really? And it's like Margot Robbie's born to play Harley Quinn, and I could see that argument being made. For me, though, comparing it to there's characters that you say this actor's born to play. Margot Robbie born to play Harley Quinn? I don't know. I could see probably some other actresses doing probably as good a job. Maybe not with that specific interpretation of Harley Quinn, but definitely a good job regardless. And she does a great job. They do something that's interesting here. They do, oddly enough, the last movie I saw prior to this was The Gentleman. They do kind of a Guy Ritchie thing where Harley Quinn is narrating the events of the movie, and then she has to backtrack prior. She does that throughout a lot of the movie. I'm like, okay, this kind of works for me, the way she's doing, because this is definitely a Harley Quinn-esque tale. In that regard, and I think it works because we get a lot of back and forth and a lot of kind of like fourth wall breaking because of that. However, I'll also say this, and this is going to be on I wouldn't say the negative side, but it's something that doesn't, what's the best way to put this? It doesn't work towards the name of the film, because the film is called Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. So obviously Harley Quinn is kind of the focal point of the movie, and she is, to the point where a couple of characters kind of get sidelined a bit. Like, she's the main focus, ultimately. That said, like, characters like Marina Miles, Black Canary, the kid who's the MacGuffin in this movie, they do get a sufficient amount of screen time. I'll say if there's one character that did get shafted, it was Huntress. Like, Huntress kind of just shows up a little bit here or there, but she's not really a main player up until near the climax of the movie. And look, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and she's good in the role, especially with the type of character they give her. But if you're talking about sidelining one of the characters a little bit, like only showing up a little here or there to focus mostly on this character, but we get an equal amount of time, not equal amount of time, get a sufficient amount of time with the other ones, then yeah, I'd say that that's a bit of a problem when your title of your film is called Birds of Prey first, and then you have the Harley Quinn part, not Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, which from my understanding they might be changing the title to that ultimately. But what is in a name, really? A bitter rose that smells as sweet as Shakespeare that I'm rambling off randomly. That doesn't make sense. I'll say this. I love the villains in it. Like Victor Zsasz, though I don't know the actor's name playing him, but him and Ewan McGregor as Sionis Black Mask. I love these guys. I love them in the sense that it's clear these guys are terrible people, but they're so kind of quirky too. particularly Black Mask, who is Ewan McGregor was asked this in a interview about the sexuality of Sionis and the Black Mask, and he's it's kind of weird. Like, him and Victor like lovers? And I can't remember the exact quote, but it's kind of implied, yes, but it's never flat out said, which is really like his flamboyant nature. You really see it with Black Mask. Like, he is very, I don't want to say effeminate. That's not the term. He comes off a little prissy at points, honestly. And he's kind of a child, which honestly, Black Mask is. He throws tantrums. He just kills people for the sake of killing people. By the by, going into that, I completely forgot. I knew this going in, but I completely forgot it. This is an R-rated film. Like, once the first F-bomb gets thrown from my Harlequin, I'm like, oh yeah, this is an R-rated film. And then when we see face peeling happen, I mean like straight up peeling someone's face off them while they're still living. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a R-rated film. Kurt actually says like that was almost a deal breaker for me. Now, there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of leg breaking, oddly enough. It doesn't get too gory, surprisingly. Like, definitely, there's the face peeling thing and all that, which is pretty gory. But apart from actually watching legs break, admittedly, it's not that gory, which is interesting to me. But the R rating still for the level of violence we had in that, yeah, and obviously bad language, which I'll be honest, that didn't bother me at all. The fact that it's R rated though, I forgot that, so I think that might hinder its overall box office chances. I give this PG-13, obviously more people go to it. But with that being said, I think it's a uniquely told tale. It actually starts off as a cartoon and then goes into the live action part of it. It's a uniquely told tale. It's funny in a lot of the right moments. I'll say this: if there's one character that maybe grates on me a little bit, it would have been maybe the girl. And I mean, I can't remember her name, but the MacGuffin girl. Basically, she swallows a diamond that Black Mask wants because it's actually got bank accounts etched in the diamond. So that's like the MacGuffin of the film. She swallows it because she's a little pickpocket. And I'm like watching, it's like, girl, you need Jesus. No. But I'm watching, it's like, okay, stop being a little shit. You got yourself into this. Even Black Canary one book, she like lives right under, like right below her. Says like, you're going to pick the pocket of the wrong white man someday. And sure enough, yeah. And she's still kind of being a little shit about it. It's like, girl, you need to shut the fuck up and shit. Because if you don't pass that through your bowels, they're just going to go into your bowels, through your stomach, rip it out, and find that diamond. So, yeah, you kind of need to get with the program just a little bit. I'll say this, too, because I watched a review for it earlier today, and they made actually a pretty valid point that the villains ultimately had a bit of an anticlimactic end. Not necessarily a death, because when their part in the movie ends, it's pretty anticlimactic. I'm like, well, okay. I mean, and me and my girlfriend both went, whoa, when that happened. But at the same time, it's like, would have liked something more with that. So yeah, a little anticlimactic there. By the way, and again, this got brought up a little bit in the review I watched too. It's like, this movie does a really good job at and that's the best way I can put this here. It's girl power, but I think in the right way. A lot of the times directors, particularly male directors, and no fault of their own, and I'm sure there's female directors who have done it too, but they'll just try to make these women overly sexualized, but still badass and still cool, but overly sexualized, or they're just going to make them unstoppable. It's like, oh yeah, girls can do whatever men can do and all that. And the whole idea of men versus women is definitely in this movie because the character of Black Mask is very much a misogynist. But it's done in a way that's much more palatable. Like, the girls, they definitely kick a lot of the guys' asses, but the guys will also lay them out quite a bit too now and then. Particularly near the climax of the scene where someone gets shot. They ultimately are fine, but someone gets shot and like, okay, we are in trouble now. We're pinned down. And I always, whenever like the battle of the sexes kind of conversation comes up, I always got to be a realist about it and say like, look, I respect both sides of it. I do to some degree. Like, I'm all for equal rights. I'm all for equality. I'm all for inclusion. Absolutely. But at the same time, I do think people need to accept limitations at some point and understand that, at least from a physical standpoint, like physicality wise, there are certain things men can do that women can't do and women can do that men can't do. And I feel like that gets lost in the fray sometimes. And this movie kind of did a much better job at balancing that and playing that tightrope act. So I definitely appreciate that. And that's the end of this. But anyway, yeah, I really like the movie. So thanks for watching. See you later.